now. My name is Lisa Duvall. I'm the program manager for Didlake, the Abilities One's contract, the TSA headquarters located in Springfield, Virginia. I will share more about my job in a few moments, but I'd first like to tell you about the path that led me here. In 1999, I was driving my 5 children home from a football game that my son had won. We were going to McDonald's to celebrate. The next thing I know, I'm in the hospital with my children, and that is when the first seizure began. I was in the hospital, and when I came out of the coma, I was asking everybody what happened and where are my children. And they were telling me that they were all in different hospitals, and I don't remember the entire thing. The long-term memory is gone. But by the grace and the favor of God, we're still here to live through it. It was an emotional journey for us all, and I lost a lot of teeth, but we're still here. In the beginning, the seizures were very uncontrollable, and the doctors couldn't explain what happened, why I was having them, and they kept trying different medications. Also, in the beginning, my husband couldn't take it, so he left us. So it was just myself and my 5 children. And we grew very, very close. They took care of me, made sure the medications were taken, because I couldn't tell when the seizures were about to occur. Sometimes I came out of it, I was in my children's arms, or I was laying in the bed, but they took care of me, and then we got in a very close bond. I was an elementary teacher back then, and so I wanted to go back to teaching school. I was mad at God. I was mad. I didn't know why he allowed this to happen to me. What did I do to cause this to come upon me? I didn't want to be considered disabled. I didn't want to live that life. I wanted to continue to do what I was doing. A few years down the line, the pandemic happened. And this is when, during the time when they were about to start closing the schools down and everything. And I was, my landlord was about to sell my home, and I was going up and down my stairs just thinking. So a lot of times when I need to think, I ride the bus, just up and down from one stop to another just to think. On this certain bus ride, there was a lady with a blue Didlake shirt on. And I asked her, I said, what does Didlake mean? You know, we just started talking, and she told me that they hire disabled persons, and she's been with them for over 6 years. So it was just a small conversation. And so after that, I got off the bus and just started going about my day. About 6 months later, the pandemic had gotten worse. Everything was virtual. By now, the teachers, they were letting us go, and we had to teach virtual, and it was just hard. I was walking up and down my steps, and I was crying to God, what am I going to do? How am I going to support my family? What in the world am I going to do? God brought back to my memory that blue Didlake shirt that I saw. And he told me to use your disability as your advantage. So I got on the computer and I started looking up Didlake and what they did and the jobs that they offered. And I saw that they had an opening at the TSA headquarters, which was in Springfield, right around the corner from where I lived. I interviewed, had a virtual interview, and a couple of days later, I was hired for the position. I went on as a general clerk 3. And so I went in there, it was during the pandemic, so the building was really empty. But I've been there now for 5 years. 2 years after I got there, the operations manager, he had left for some issue. So we were in control of the entire 2nd floor. And we handled over 345 conference rooms. He was not there, so all the work was laid on my shoulders. And I was doing my job. I was going above and beyond, doing what I needed to do. A couple of months later, Didlake management came to me and they said, Miss Lisa, TSA, they've been watching you. And they've been watching you control this entire floor by yourself. And they want you to apply to take this project manager position that they're about to open, and they wanted to give it to you. I started crying. I didn't know what to do. All I know was that these people saw things in me that I didn't see in myself. They saw leadership skills in Lisa that Lisa didn't see in herself. I'm working within the TSA currently now. Over 3,000 people have come back to work since the federal government, everybody's come back to work. So we have about over 5,000 people within our building. We have TSA, we have DHS, we have the federal marshals. When Mr. Pikowski was there, he's in our building as well. He would always come by to our team. I have 2 people under me and tell us thank you for a job well done. He's given us a certificate of appreciation for an award. That's a mighty thing for somebody as high as Mr. Pikowski to come to the desk, shake your hand, and say thank you. And he's given us a certificate because of that. I've also received a certificate from the TSA when they had the Women's History Month. And they gave me a certificate for the women who inspire. I was in tears. I couldn't believe it, but I tell all I want to say is that the main thing that I remember is when I was praying to God and asking him, what am I going to do? How am I going to support my family? Is this going to make it work? All I can remember is when God told me to use your disability as your advantage. And that's what I did. And I thank you all for what you've done and what you're doing to use these disabilities as an advantage.